all good stories have some surprise element, some twist in the plot line. What we expected was a story about a Messiah who would be a human warrior and who would reign triumphantly after a great military victory and usher in the kingdom of God. What we did not expect was that the Messiah, the one anointed by God, sent by God, would actually be God. And that this God would actually come as a suffering God. That was on no one's radar. Now, this was central to the story that the biblical evangelists tell. Let me give you just an example from Mark. In chapter 8, in chapter 9, and again in chapter 10, 3 times, in fact, coming right on the first occurrence, coming right on the heels of Peter's confession, "You are the Messiah," Jesus says, "Yes, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven." But then he goes on immediately to introduce a new plot line. Let me read it to you from Mark's version, from N.T. Wright's translation. He says, "Jesus now began to teach them something new." And listen to what's new. "There's trouble in store for the Son of Man," he said. "The elders, the chief priests, and the scribes are going to reject him. He will be killed, and after 3 days he will be raised." He said all of this quite explicitly. Now, begin to put your mind back into the understanding of someone in that era whose mind had been shaped by this coming kingdom of God. And now all of a sudden, Jesus is claiming to be the king of this kingdom, but he's also saying that this king is going to be a sufferer. He's going to suffer. In fact, that term, the Son of Man, is an idiom that's used in Daniel chapter 7, in Ezekiel, and it's always filled with glory. You know, glory, honor, dominion, power. You know, those are the words that you put together with the Son of Man. But what Jesus does is conflate this with Isaiah 53, that the Son of Man, the one who is filled with all glory, is going to come and suffer for us. Now, I want to apply a question here from our Discovery Bible series, which teaches us to ask the question, what does this teach us about God? Because it's very surprising. And I'm going to read you a quote from our author that I think goes right to the core of it. But you remember Tozer's famous line that the most important thing about anyone is what they think about when they think about God. Now, this is the surprising new element that Jesus introduces. Our author says this about Jesus: "The God whom Jesus reveals is not an angry or ambivalent or absent creator, not a detached or distant deity, not a God so transcendent as to be beyond reach. The God whom Jesus reveals is instead a God who is immanent, right there in the pain and mire of life. Emmanuel, God with us. The God who emptied himself to take on all human experience." Now, I don't know about you, but when I begin to contemplate that kind of a God, I find that utterly attractive. In fact, that's the kind of God you can fall in love with. Well, I hope that'll help you as you reflect on the story that we get to tell. Have a good day.